What is up, guys? We are in the middle of the Olympic National Park right now. We are in the Olympic Peninsula in the Pacific Northwest in Washington. We are on the Cape Alalva Trail. It's absolutely beautiful. We're gonna go to Sand Point, then to Wedding Rocks, and then to Cape Alalva, and then back home. Well, back to the parking lot. And then we're gonna walk up to Mount Olympus in a couple days after that. So putting in a few miles. It's really nice being on the coast. Feels like I can actually breathe because I'm actually going uphill right now in a full pack. It's not too bad. So we've made it to Sand Point. This is crazy. So we backpacked through the Olympic National Park and through, it's basically a rainforest. I mean, it is classified as a rainforest, but I know they have like the Solduck rainforest, the Hoh rainforest, but this is crazy too. Like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We're gonna head all the way up to those rocks, basically up there. Here and tomorrow and the next day, we're gonna be basically on this section of the peninsula for 3 days. So we're excited. I found a Chinese buoy. How crazy is that? So I ran into someone at, oh gosh, I can't remember the point now. I'm at Sand Point and they were at something, gosh, I can't remember the name of it now. Anyways, he was like, oh, you staying here? And I was like, no, I'm just wandering. He's just like, where are you staying? I was like, Sand Point. He's like, geez, you wandered like 2.5 miles away from camp. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. I was like, well, I got to see what I got to see. Only have a little time here. But that's kind of crazy, huh? So I've added an extra 5 miles to this 9-mile trail. And I guarantee I wander some more tomorrow. So we're leaving the gear away from camp. There's a bunch of these like random benches all over this peninsula. So we're keeping it off the ground using that. And the bear vault is tucked away over here underneath these logs. There is a trail right here, but hopefully nothing comes down it. We'll see. All right, so the rest of today, half of tomorrow, will just be beach packing. Definitely want to walk where the water has contacted the sand so you can actually not sink. But it hasn't been too bad. It's I don't know, really pretty area. Yesterday morning, right before we got here, I passed a couple and they said there was a black bear sow with 2 cubs. They said about the size that could fit in a shoebox almost. I was like, wow, so they're just a couple weeks old. So she's probably really on the aggro right now, you know what I mean? But she didn't bother anyone, and so me and her are actually heading the same way. She was heading north, I'm heading north, so maybe we'll run into them. So I kept seeing these, it's a circle and it's in a quadrant of a pie and it's black, black, red, red. So like, how do I explain it? Basically a checkered circle. And I couldn't figure out what that meant. So I looked up on my topographical, it means impassable. I was like, okay, well it seems pretty passable right now. Well, in a couple hours, there will be water up to my waist. This entire, I can't imagine how deep it is back there, but right where I'm standing. And so I was like, oh, well, good thing I'm paying attention to the tides. I had no idea that you couldn't even make it to my next destination based on the tide. So if you look, this whole coastline looks about the same. Wanna know how I find my camp? That little stick right there. It's the only way I know. So, a little background story. 2 years ago, I came onto the Makah reservation for the first time, and I was just completely blown away. And I went clear to the reservation and realized it was just a memorial. So I was a little disappointed, but I got to see the old ranger station. And it was beautiful, and I learned all these stories. And I got to go to a point now that is closed off to everybody. Unless you're a Makah native, you can only go to that point. And so I felt blessed to be able to go onto one of those sacred islands that they used to view from and hunt from. So the second part of that trip was I was supposed to go see some petroglyphs. I could not find them, man, holy crap. And someone said when I was past the trail, oh, they're a mile south. So this time I made sure I started at Sand Point and walked all the way from South Sand Point all the way back up to the village just to make sure. I literally added an extra like 4.5, 5 miles onto this trail. And I finally found them. They're all over the place. And I've never seen petroglyphs that are whales or seals or anything. It's like such a beautiful experience. Like, it's crazy. Like, and it's sad to me that most people are just like, oh, they're just rock chips. It's like, no, those are stories. Like, little cool history thing about the Makah is they have stories of before the Great Freeze, before the Ice Age, like how life was, like the things people used to do. No other civilization has that. No other civilization. They literally have, it's called the 5 tribe story. So as far as you could go anywhere on Earth, you could only find 5 different kinds of people. That's how old their oral traditions are. They were literally, and still are, the remaining people that can internationally hunt whales, because that's how they survive. That's how they're like the Sentinelese people, but whalers. So we made a little storm break, just in case the wind picks up. A little bit of a, I don't know if you can see, it's like almost head level. And then we have this stump and these trees obviously surrounding the other directions, but definitely didn't have much besides these tree limbs. So we made that to kind of break the wind. Anyways, we're gonna go explore again. And today's been cool. I've been picking up sea glass. Went and saw petroglyphs that I have been looking for like 2 years for. And people had said they'd seen some bears in the area, and it's like, that's kind of not a great sign, but they hadn't bugged anybody. And so I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool if I saw them. Didn't see them yesterday, didn't see any today. Was looking at sea glass, went around the corner over here, and there's two. They were sitting there going the opposite direction of my camp, so great. But there were two walking along the shore, beachcombing, just like me. It was cute. What a wonderful day. Well, I was like, let's cook by camp tonight. It won't be too bad. The bears went that way. I'm literally, you know, I'm cooking, doing my thing. My tent's right there, and I look up. Fucking waiting for me. Anyways, very interesting situation. This is probably the closest I've been to a bear without actually us tranking it. I remember when I was in the Scouts as a young man, we got to trank some bears and stuff like that. A little nerve-wracking. He's probably, I bet he's 15, 20 yards maybe. I literally could hit him with a rock, like, and he could get up and charge me and have me quicker than, like, literally. Do you know what's crazy? Do you know what freaked me out? I'm sitting here quiet by myself. I've been around all this. He's been there. Like, I literally have been back and forth. So he literally walked up on me, has been like cultivating, and while I was cooking, and I hadn't even, you know what I mean? And I'm just heating up water. Like, I think I'm gonna throw the water in this, and then I'm going to probably head further down. But that's crazy, huh? It's just like, well, good thing I have my bear mace. I literally had to remove that guy. I don't even know what he was stuck to. That's crazy. All right, pack out day. And you can't tell what time of day it is how it was last night. You couldn't tell if it was 7 o'clock or 10 o'clock. It's fogged out. So we're heading to those points so you can barely see them. And that's where the bears were last night. So didn't have any issues, thank God. I don't really think black bears are super aggressive unless they're desperate. I ran into a bunch of people that said they were at camp doing stuff, and like the bears didn't even look up at them. You know what I mean? They're doing their thing and we're doing our thing, and that's how it should be. You know what I mean? When there's normally when they're confronting you or you're confronting them, there's a imbalance. You know what I mean? But still in balance here. So we're just navigating the tidal pools. And we have about a mile of this. It's actually easier to walk out here, even though it's slick, than on the sand. We're about to approach the petroglyphs again. So super cool story. Ranger Taylor, I won't say his first name. He and I were talking, and I asked him about petroglyphs yesterday. And he said, you know, I know areas, but he said we actually don't have any geological tags. Oh, we got to go this way. It's too deep. And I said, oh, and I'm thinking him personally. No, the park doesn't. And so I was confused. And then I realized, oh, the archaeologists and the tribe probably know about these. And the tribe for sure does, but it's just word of mouth. And then the archaeologists might have geotags, but the park itself in which they are housed had no idea, like the specifics. So guess who got to help a ranger yesterday put an archaeological site, a couple of them, 3 to be exact. We could have done more, but he had already passed them. 3 geotags in a national park with a ranger. I did. That's pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool little story. It's like, wow, dude. So now rangers themselves will know where to inspect, because they didn't know. They just, whatever they passed. And so things could be damaged or being lost that they had no idea about because they don't have geotags, but now they do. So if you ever go to Wedding Rocks in Washington, and you get one of the newer maps, and they have the tags for the petroglyphs. You're welcome. We made it. How crazy cool are those? So these are depicting killer whales. And there's actually a whale over here that's eating a seal. I've never in my life seen petroglyphs like this. And they are basically only accessible in low tide. And they're freaking phenomenal. All right, we've made it to the top of the trailhead where you go back to the forest. We put our rain cover back on. I realized it was kind of getting a little damp from the sea mist. And so we decided to, oh, did I forget something? Nope, just rock. Always double check. Anyways, it is basically straight up now for a little bit. You really can't tell, but it's gonna be straight up. Anyways, we're heading back to the ranger station. We're going to stay one night, regular car camping, and then is to Mount Olympus guard station, about halfway up the mountain. So we're in for a treat this week for sure. So you might ask, how do you plan on drying your gear out since you had the sea mist and a little bit of rain this morning? How do you plan on drying your gear out on your way to Mount Olympus? And that's how. That's how you got to do it. On the go, on the run. Time waits for no man. And I used to be really frustrated with bad weather days. But I realized there's a Japanese saying, especially carpenters use it, there is no perfect day. Only you. You're the only thing that makes a difference. And so, like, sometimes you have to do things on a rainy day. Sometimes you have to do things when it's windy or it's shitty, you know what I mean? But it's like, you have to do it if you want the task to be completed. So that's just what I put in my head. Like, yep, it's gonna rain, but I'm still here. Like, I don't control the weather, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like if people would look at life like that, they'd be a lot happier and a lot calmer. Like, we are in control of nothing besides our reaction. That's psychology 101. And when you realize that, you look at the world entirely different. Like, it's not the world against me, it's how I handle the world. You see what I mean? Everything happens for you, not to you. I promise you. I 100% promise you.